So to begin with, Geoff, I thought you could give us a little bit of background about your filmmaking life.
Okay.
Hellraiser.
Well, yeah, not far off. I mean, when I started making little cine films with my dad when I was about 6, maybe 7, using my dad's Super 8, silent Super 8 camera. And then I sort of got hooked. My dad used to help me. We made these funny little films with like stop motion with my Star Wars figures and things. And then I used to save up my pocket money to buy a roll of 50mm for the camera, and then I'd make my own little films with that. And then I started doing a lot of fan films. I did like an Alien 3, it was called. So it was a sequel to Aliens. So that was like 1986. I did that on Cine Film first. That was a 200-meter production. And then my school let me borrow their video camera, and so I remade it, another Alien 3 film. And then I did like an Indiana Jones one, and never did a Star Wars fan film. And then eventually just making movies with my friends, lots of silly sci-fi and horror. I did a film called Hellbent, which was based on the Hellraiser films. Another little fan film. And then one day, when the invention of the internet came about, I found out that it was considered the very first Hellraiser fan film. And then that kind of brought me into sort of into a different group, and I sort of found out about fan films in general. And then I did make Star Wars. What am I talking about? Then I made Overtime, which was my I guess it was my turning point film. That was in 2008. What happened was I had this bit of software on my computer that allowed me to do lightsabers. So I thought, hey, I've got to make a lightsaber film. I mean, who wouldn't want that? So then I made this lightsaber fight film called Overtime, which done very well for me at the time. I think it was screened at BF. I think it got a 4-star or something. Because I filmed it at my employer's place of employment, which was a Barclays office in Basingstoke. This was in 2008 when the credit crunch happened. Then one morning we woke up to the newspaper saying Barclays laughs at the credit crunch. And it was all over the Daily Mail and various other tabloid press. I think we were in the New York Times as well. So that went through the roof, and I was on a bit of a roller coaster. There were some really good moments. There were some really terrible moments. We ended up doing a sequel to that one about a year or so later, which wasn't particularly my best moment. Overly long. I think it was like nearly 20 minutes compared to 10 minutes in the first one. And then because that sort of had me seeing different groups of people, I was more into the festival circuit at that point. So I was networking, going to festivals. The red carpet screenings events happened in Basingstoke, where I met a lovely man called Seb Hall, and who ran those events. And so I was able to then show all these things I was making to people in my hometown, in front of an audience. And that really, and then from that, I met lots of people in my area that were making movies, and I didn't know they existed. They didn't know I existed. And so the networking thing really, really helped. And before I knew it, we were collaborating and making loads of films. And then I started really getting into festivals, etc., etc. So it just kind of snowballed really from red carpet screenings.
So these were loose groups of friends making films. It wasn't a traditional club or anything.
No, we were just. I mean, the club was red carpet screenings, I guess, because he had one like every other month or something, or every couple of months. So the same group of people would always go, right, and then we'd meet other people. So you could call it a club maybe, but I think the fact is that we were screening our films in front of a large audience. That was what we wanted. And they weren't always people that we knew.
Yeah.
So I think that gave us that little buzz.
Yeah.
And the audience wasn't just local. People travelled.
No, exactly.
Cornwall, Birmingham.
Yeah.
I think that helped, the fact that it wasn't just us entering our films. It was, I mean, Seb made sure that local people got a chance to screen their films as well as national and international. He had people, fly in on the odd occasion to screen their film in front of the audience. And in fact, there was no competition. It was just about celebration, enjoying the film, enjoying the moment, and enjoying each other's company afterwards with a beer, and that was just perfect. I mean, that bred this new group of people, because we all started meeting and started working together, but nothing to do with, there was no clubs involved or anything. We just swapped numbers and send emails. I had one guy would write a script, send it in, we'd all talk about it. Yeah, I'll direct it this time, and then off we go and make it.
That slightly diverted you from your horror film trend.
Well, I don't know. It kind of did, but I guess, I mean, I class the Room 4, which was the kind of the first sort of serious film I made after the sort of the overtime stuff. And that, even though it's a dark comedy, but there is a sort of it's quite dark. So that was kind of keeping the horror element there. And then then I did. I mean, everything up until Selfie was kind of comedy, so but not laugh out loud comedy, But then obviously, when I made Selfie, I just had an idea in my head, and it made me shiver, and I just said, I've got to do this, and I wrote it in like, I know, a couple of hours, and then I got my team together, and off I went.
For those that haven't seen it, we should just say it's essentially a ghost story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Japanese ghost story, or paying homage to Japanese ghost stories.
Yeah. And it's had quite an impact.
For me, it's my most successful film to date. It's had, I mean, even now, it's screening in Los Angeles this week, or is it next week? At a festival called Slay Film Festival. It's had well over 55, 56 official selections at festivals around the world. As I said when we were chatting earlier, it's been released on Blu-ray, on a horror compilation in America. It's just done incredibly well, and I think one of the things that makes it so successful is it's very short. It's 6 minutes long, and it's nicely packed together. There's no real loose moments in it. I think it really does just ratchet the tension up, gives you the payoff you need, and then ends. So, and I even made sure that the end credits were nice and short as well. So I think because I wanted people to, for those that have seen it, there was that moment where something happens, hopefully people scream or they'll jump out of their seat or whatever. So I made, it was a purposely done, the end credits have no music on at all. It's just deadly silence. And I kept it that way in the hope that maybe people will still be concerned something else is going to happen. Or you can hear the gasps still in the room, etc. So it was just, so I do love Selfie massively, and I'm really pleased with it.